Having now explored how the Arizona Real Estate Recovery Fund operates, the payment limits, exclusions, and automatic disciplinary consequences of a payout, we conclude this module by examining the final and most critical step in the process, the path toward reinstatement. Once a recovery fund payout has been made due to a licensee's misconduct, that individual's license is automatically terminated under Arizona Revised Statutes, Section 322188B. However, Arizona law provides a mechanism for that former licensee to regain eligibility to apply for a new real estate license. This process is not automatic and involves strict conditions centered on full repayment to the recovery fund, proof of rehabilitation, and compliance with all current licensing requirements. The most fundamental condition for reinstatement is complete repayment to the Arizona Real Estate Recovery Fund. According to ARS Section 32-2188B, a terminated licensee may not apply for a new license until they have reimbursed the fund in full for every dollar paid out on their behalf, including any interest and court costs assessed by the department. This repayment ensures that public money used to compensate victims is restored before the individual is permitted to re-enter the real estate profession. The ADRE treats this repayment obligation as both a financial and ethical responsibility. It demonstrates accountability for past misconduct and a willingness to make amends. For example, if the recovery fund paid $30,000 to a consumer because a licensee misappropriated earnest money deposits, the licensee's license would be automatically terminated. Before that individual could even be considered for a new license, they would need to repay the entire $30,000 plus any accrued interest as determined by the department. Once the repayment is complete, the ADRE would issue a written acknowledgement confirming that the fund has been made whole, which the former licensee would include with their new license application. It is important to understand that repayment alone does not guarantee that a new license will be granted. Repayment simply makes the individual eligible to apply again. The decision to approve or deny the application rests entirely with the real estate commissioner. Under ARS Section 32-2153A3, the commissioner must determine whether the applicant is honest, truthful, and of good character. This means the applicant must demonstrate that they have been rehabilitated, learned from their past misconduct, and can once again be trusted to uphold the public interest. The commissioner has full discretion to deny a new license application if there is evidence of continued untrustworthiness, financial irresponsibility, or moral unfitness. To satisfy this requirement, the former licensee must meet all current education, testing, and fingerprint clearance standards that apply to new applicants under ARS Section 32-2124. Because real estate laws and regulations evolve over time, the applicant may need to retake the 90-hour pre-licensure course, pass the state licensing examination, and submit to a new background check to confirm they have no new disqualifying criminal history. This process ensures that any reinstated licensee possesses up-to-date knowledge of Arizona's real estate statutes and commissioner's rules, and that their record reflects lawful and ethical conduct since the prior termination. The applicant must also disclose the prior recovery fund payout and license termination on their new license application. Failure to disclose this information would constitute misrepresentation under ARS Section 322153A1 and could result in immediate denial. The department reviews such applications with heightened scrutiny, often requesting additional documentation such as court judgments, repayment receipts, and personal statements outlining steps taken toward rehabilitation. Letters of recommendation, proof of community service, or participation in continuing education programs may also support the applicant's case for reinstatement. A real-world example helps illustrate this process. Consider a former broker whose license was terminated after the recovery fund paid $60,000 to victims of a fraudulent property sale. Several years later, after repaying the entire amount plus interest, the broker decides to reapply. They retake the required pre-licensure education, pass the state exam, obtain fingerprint clearance, and submit evidence of repayment along with a personal statement of remorse and documentation of stable employment. The commissioner reviews the file and, after evaluating the applicant's record and character, determines that the individual has demonstrated sufficient rehabilitation and may be relicensed. However, it is equally possible for the commissioner to deny the application even after full repayment if the applicant fails to show credible evidence of rehabilitation. For example, if the applicant has ongoing financial problems, unpaid judgments, or a pattern of unethical conduct, since the termination, the department may deem them unfit for licensure. The law is designed to prioritize public protection above individual interests, meaning reinstatement is a privilege, not a right. In rare cases, if an applicant believes the commissioner's denial was unjustified, they may request a hearing through the Office of Administrative Hearings, OAH, under the Arizona Administrative Procedure Act, ARS Section 41-1092 et seq. This process allows the applicant to present evidence of rehabilitation, repayment, and moral fitness before an administrative law judge, who will issue a recommendation to the commissioner. Ultimately, the commissioner retains final authority over whether to issue a new license. The repayment requirement also reinforces the broader purpose of the Recovery Fund as a system of ethical accountability. It ensures that licensees who have caused harm cannot escape responsibility by relying on the fund as a form of insurance. Instead, they must take direct action to correct the financial wrong and demonstrate a renewed commitment to lawful and ethical behavior before earning back the privilege to practice real estate in Arizona. Review summary. In this section, you learn that a licensee whose license has been terminated due to a recovery fund payout must meet several strict conditions before becoming eligible to apply for a new license. Under ARS Section 32-2188B, the individual must repay the entire amount paid from the recovery fund on their behalf, including interest and costs. After repayment, they must meet all current licensing requirements under ARS Section 322124, disclose the prior termination, and demonstrate rehabilitation, honesty, and good character to the commissioner. The commissioner has full discretion to approve or deny the new application based on the applicant's moral fitness and record of conduct. This process ensures that only trustworthy and responsible individuals are permitted to re-enter the real estate profession. Discussion. Why must a licensee repay the recovery fund before reapplying for a license? Answer. To restore the public money used to compensate victims and demonstrate accountability for past misconduct. Does full repayment guarantee a new real estate license? Answer. No. It only makes the individual eligible to apply. The commissioner must still approve the application based on moral character and rehabilitation. What statute governs repayment and reinstatement conditions after a recovery fund payout? Answer. ARS Section 32-2188B. What must a former licensee do in addition to repayment to become relicensed? Answer. Meet all current education, testing, and fingerprint requirements, and disclose their prior termination honestly. Why does the commissioner have discretion to deny reinstatement even after repayment? Answer. Because the commissioner must ensure the applicant is honest, trustworthy, and fit to protect the public's interest before reissuing a license. Closing remarks. The process of regaining eligibility after a recovery fund payout reflects the seriousness of professional accountability in Arizona real estate. Repayment to the fund is more than a financial obligation. It is an acknowledgement of wrongdoing and a first step toward restoring integrity. By requiring full restitution, updated education, and proof of rehabilitation, Arizona law ensures that only those who have demonstrated genuine moral and professional recovery are allowed to return to the practice of real estate. This standard protects consumers, strengthens public confidence, and reinforces the ethical foundation upon which Arizona's real estate industry is built.